The SMILER, perhaps one of the most controversial coasters in the world. One the most famous, one the most loved, one the most hated. Let's get into it. The SMILER opened on the 31st of May 2013 as the world's first 14 looping roller coaster, and also Gerstlauer. It was their first infinity coaster, which became a very successful model with installations such as Hang Time at Knoxbury Farm and also Die Schwerdeskanen at Hansa Park. The ride opened in X Sector next to Oblivion and is still one of the most popular rides in the park, always draws a queue and has been thrilling riders ever since it reopened in 2016. The reason I've said for when it reopened was, when the SMILER originally opened in 2013, it wasn't ready. It had so many technical issues, and that can be expected for new rides, but the SMILER especially, debris had fallen off the ride. Obviously it had its major crash, which I will talk about later on. The SMILER just was not ready for how many people it was going to attract to Alton Towers, and also to fit that much capacity, such a big amount of time. I genuinely believe the technology wasn't there for the SMILER when it opened. But when it came out, it was a very popular ride, and it still is. The popularity of the SMILER has not gone down at all. It still gets one of the biggest queues. It's up there with Wicker Man. The SMILER is loved by loads of people, but it does split groups with enthusiasts and also with the general public. A lot of people do come off the SMILER saying that it's very rough, and in the back section I definitely agree with that. But that definitely isn't the only thing the general public see when they think of the SMILER. The main point of the SMILER's controversy happened on the 2nd of June 2015.
We've just had a statement from Alton Towers regarding that accident on the ride called the SMILER. This is the statement. It says there has been an incident on the SMILER this afternoon involving two carriages coming together on a low section of the track.
In the first section of the ride, 16 guests were in a car that collided with an empty carriage, and this was down to a human error of a staff member that was working on the SMILER. I think what made the SMILER so controversial after this was it was a human error, so it could have happened at any time, and also the ride was open by next season. This means that the SMILER spent less than a year closed after such a serious accident. Two people had to have amputations of their legs. They're Vicky Balch and Leah Washington. I don't know the fourth person who was on the front row, as he has, as far as I know, remained anonymous, but Joe Pugh also sustained a lot of injuries. The question arose, was it the right idea to reopen the SMILER? Personally, I think for the park, yes, but I think it was incredibly insensitive to the survivors to reopen it so soon, because it did seem like that was all that Alton Towers wanted to do. I know Alton Towers have definitely looked after them to a point. I mean, you know, there's only a certain amount they can do, there's only a certain amount that can be expected, and those people will never be the same since that horrific accident. I think the amount of time between the accident and reopening the ride was definitely insensitive, but for the park it was a good move, and I think the park has definitely recovered well since the accident, considering how bad the implications of that incident could have been. But I'm not going to be pretentious. At the time that the SMILER did have its incident, I was the SMILER's #1 fan, absolutely lived and breathed the SMILER, so I was so glad to see it open. So I can't act like some sort of activist for peace and sensitivity, because I was so happy to see the ride open, but looking back, I do see it as really insensitive, on my part as well as the park's. Why do people love the SMILER? I can't really answer it. I think it's something new. It's a very wacky coaster. I personally really enjoy the theme. I know some people really don't like the theme. It's a really split decision coaster, and that's why I'm making this video, because I think that's a question that a lot of people want answered, and hopefully within this video I can. Before I get into what I think of the ride, I asked you guys to send me in a clip of what you think of the SMILER and why you feel that way. So thank you to anyone who did send in a clip, and here you go.
Hello. So my opinion on the SMILER is that it is probably the best ride in the world. I know that many people could say that it has too many loops, but totally disagree. I think it's one of the best experiences. Like, that first indoor drop is really good. The second airtime hill, oh my god, that is like heaven. Like, I'm sorry, it's just like perfect. Best ride. Yeah.
Hi guys, my name's Stuart. I love the SMILER because for me it is just the most relentless and, you know, fast-paced and just crazy, most insane coaster you can find out there. I do understand some of the hate around it. It is quite rough in places, quite rickety, but I think that just adds to the overall, you know, pure adrenaline you get from it, is just how crazy and unpredictable it is, and it's just so rapid and intense, and it's got airtime, and I just love it to bits, and it's my favourite coaster at Towers and in England.
To be honest, I love the SMILER. It's an absolutely amazing ride. I mean, 14 inversions. I mean, every time I'm on it, halfway around, my head is absolutely spinning. And when you're following the track, you just don't know which way it's going to go. But yeah, that's my thoughts on SMILER. Absolutely love it. Check out my other 2 theme parks on Facebook and YouTube.
Personally, we both think the SMILER is a great coaster, 100%.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
The hoops, the twist,
the airtime on it,
the vertical lift hill is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it.
Ride it 100% all the time, and we just think it's an awesome coaster.
Yeah,
and
always
like,
come off laughing.
And anyone should ride it.
Yeah,
anyone.
Again, thank you very much, guys, for sending in your clips. So let's get on to my thoughts on the SMILER. I will say every seat is different, and there is no such thing as consistency with the SMILER, but that bat wing and those last 2 corkscrews are hell if you are on the back right. Back left can sometimes be okay, but my main problem with the SMILER is it's got this constant rattle, and I literally just said there's no such thing as consistency.
You're lying to me!
But it has got this constant rattle throughout it that's just getting worse and worse. People are saying that it's riding better than ever, but I really think it's getting worse. So why do I think the SMILER is so controversial? I think it's really simple. It's such a different take on a coaster. You're always going to have controversy with a coaster that goes the extra mile, that's really extreme. So coasters that have loads and loads of floaty airtime, to say Shambhala, people don't think it's anywhere near as good as coasters like Steel Vengeance, because that's got ejector airtime. I think just because it's so extreme on one particular side, and that side's inversions, it's some people's taste. It's not for some other people. Don't get me wrong, I love nothing more than having a good ride on the SMILER, but sadly they are becoming fewer and fewer. The front row is good fun, especially in the middle. But before I end this video, I want to get opinions off both Mom and Tab, because you could not get more of a polar opposite person. Tab is probably the least enthusiastic person about coasters, and Mom is probably the most enthusiastic person.
It's good during the day, but it's better at night.
It was a bit of a milestone coaster for me. I love it. Nearly 3 minutes of joy.
So there we go. The SMILER is a very controversial coaster, I think, because it's different, but most people seem to like it. So thank you for watching this video on ICS Views today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of it. I'll see you very soon. Smile always. We hope you've enjoyed this video that you've watched on our channel today. If you have, please subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll be the first to know every time we upload a new video. And also we have an Instagram, Twitter and Facebook page, so you can check those out to see what we're getting up to whilst we visit these parks. Thank you for watching. I've been ICS Views. You've been amazing to watch this. Let's go.